Hey guys, this is Harold Perrineau, and you're listening to Chris Gordon on Ramblings of a Hellblazer.
Hey, good evening, Harold. How are you? Or this morning for you. How are you?
I'm very, very good. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you.
Yeah, it is morning for me. So yes, I'm just waking up. I got my cup of coffee here, and just getting together.
Fair enough. It's nice and evening for me as we just worked out. So cool. On behalf of all the Hellblazers everywhere, I thank you for agreeing to this interview on the podcast.
Look, man, you Hellblazers have been keeping us alive, man. So I thank you guys for all your support and all the the love that everybody's shown throughout the world. I mean, it's been amazing. It really, really has been amazing. And so I thank you guys, and I'm glad to even be here. So this is awesome.
Thank you very much. That's great. I'm sure everyone will be loving to hear that. All right. So you yourself, you've got an esteemed career. You've appeared in many well-known films and TV, including Constantine, which we're talking about today. I've got to say, I loved your performance as Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet many years ago.
Thank you.
With the blonde wig and Candy Staten number was genius.
I wear that every day. Just remind me.
I was going to say, well, you're wearing it now,
You're stunning.
It looks very nice on you, I've got to say. And also, who could forget your role as Michael in Lost, which was obviously one of the biggest TV series of the last decade, which blew the minds of thousands of people, including me.
Right. There you go.
So that'll take me to my first little question. What was it like? This is obviously not Constantine related, but what was it like filming Lost? Did you all bond? It's obviously you were on an island together, weren't you? So it's
yeah. Lost was a really, really unique experience, and whenever I talk about it or I talk to people about it, I always say that it was more than just a job. Like it really was a life experience. Like this whole thing happened, and so we really were pretty much like the show. We were all sort of on this island, like away from everybody else, because we were working just crazy hours every day. Especially that first season, we were always there and running through pig farms and mud and like in all these places that we never knew existed on Hawaii. And while we heard the rumors of the show being really, really big and popular, we were still working. And so we just kind of hung there, bonded together. We'd watch it on TV. And then like when we all got back to Los Angeles, we really understood sort of the magnitude of what was happening. Like, people were literally stopping their cars in the street, like screaming, "There's Walt's dad!" It's really new for me, to be somebody's dad. At the time, it was a new experience, but it was a lot of fun. And Hawaii is just beautiful. Everybody on the island really embraced us, and we all just became family, Ohana as they call it over there. And it was really, really a great time, a really spectacular time in my career and in my life. It was really, really great for me.
Fantastic. You kind of answered all three questions in one there now. It's all right. Do please carry on. I don't mind. I'll sit here and listen. It's fine. No, that sounds like a really cool experience. You can tell that was, obviously the same with Constantine, which we'll come on to, but with Lost, the multiple series, like you can tell that the bond must have been there from you guys.
Yeah. That first season really, really was. I mean, really just a special time. We all just, because we didn't know what was happening. We really, just like the audience, we didn't know what was happening. We'd get a script and we'd go like, "Oh my God, what there's a what?" You know what I mean? Like, Jack's father is here? Like all these crazy things. We just had no idea, We had no idea who the criminal was on the plane. And then we found out it was Evie and was like, "Oh, come on." Like, the pretty girl. So, it was exciting and fun and a little scary because it's a really different way to work. Like never knowing what's going to happen like each week.
Yeah.
Like usually like in a film or a television series, you kind of know, which way it's going to go. And I have to say, after Lost, a lot of TV series did the same thing. So we kind of were in a similar boat in Constantine. Mm-hmm. They tried not to tell us everything that was happening.
Okay.
But Lost was the first time that, I had experienced that, like, I didn't know until, like, the week before what was going to happen. So it was an interesting way to work. We had fun.
Well, sounds very interesting. Sort of a exciting experience,
Yes.
learning the story as it goes on as well. It was just you can't explain Lost. It was just absolutely just phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah, you can't explain. There's no way.
No. As I say, I watched the final episode and I was still going, "What the hell?"
As many people do,
Yeah.
yes.
It was the talk, I know over in the UK, and like it was everywhere else, it was just the talk of the workplace every week. It was just like coming in and goes, my God, did you watch it last night? What?
Exactly. Exactly.
Not many shows have done that, so congrats on being part of that. That was
Well, thanks, man. I had fun. Thank you for watching that as well.
Okay. Well, today we're here for your role in Constantine as Manny, the mysterious angel anyway, who appears to be watching over John Constantine and playing with him, having fun. I have got a few questions which are sent to me by the Hellblazers across the world,
Okay.
which we'll go into. Firstly, I just want to ask, with one of my ones is Manny just seems to, I would say, he disappears on John quite a lot.
Right.
And, yeah. Would you say Manny was doing that, obviously having fun with that? Because it was hilarious to watch. Because every time John turned around, he's like, "Oh, for God's sake, man!"
I think Manny is very, very, very old school religion almost.
Yeah.
He kind of gives you what you need, but no more than that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's up to you to figure it out. And so, it's almost, but not exactly him playing God. It's like,
Yeah.
here's what you need, and you can figure it out. And especially with Constantine, because Constantine is a tricky guy.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a really, really tricky guy, and so even Manny has to be really careful around him. So Manny's a powerful angel as well, but you have to be really careful around Constantine because he's as you saw in some of the episodes, he's quick. He's quick on his feet.
Very, very.
Yeah. You got to watch it.
Yeah, quick-witted as well.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. Okay, so I've got two questions here which have come from someone on Twitter called who's Laurie Rowe.
Hello, Laurie.
So, if or when Constantine gets picked up, how should Manny's story develop? Is he going to be Is he playing John or is he helping him? Is something larger directing Manny?
Well, this is the thing that we had talked about. If Constantine does go on, there is something larger directing Manny.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be according to the Bible the way many people would expect him to be guiding Manny, but he is. The way he expect him to be guiding John. But there is a bigger play going on. There is something larger happening, and something that's sort of gotten out of Manny's control. Mm-hmm. Manny had an idea, and it kind of got out of his control, but he can't really play his cards. So there's a larger picture, if we ever were to go back, that Manny is working on. How that plays out, that we don't know. But there is a larger picture, and I honestly believe it's for the greater good. That doesn't mean it's always going to be good, but I believe it's for the greater.
Fair enough. Cool. It's just a shame. We hopefully we'll touch wood. We might actually get to see that play out.
I really hope we do. Daniel Cerrone had some really, really great ideas for our seasons going forward, and so we talked about them briefly, but again with not too much detail. But we talked about sort of where Manny was going and his idea of what was happening for Manny, and they were really fantastic ideas.
Oh,
really.
I talked to Christine last week or the week before, Christine Boylan.
You did?
Yeah. She was brilliant as well. She was telling me she's got scripts, obviously, just like all the writers. They've all got like storylines upon storylines that they carried on writing because it was in their head, and it was like, oh my God, please just.
Yes, I know. And if Christine is writing it, you want to hear it because she is such a great writer. So smart and so just passionate, and man, I really do hope we get a chance to work together again.
Yeah, she really came across as that in the interview. If you've not listened, it's on my line. So.
I haven't heard it yet. I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah, that was a recent one. It's like, that'd be good. Okay, again from Laurie is what's coming up in your career that's really exciting you. This is away from Constantine now.
For me, what right now I've been working on, and I'm really scared about it, producing and writing. So I've got a film in development called Slay the Dreamer, which is a really, really interesting true story that surrounds the assassination of Dr. King, Dr. Martin Luther King, and it's a script that's been around for a long time, and I got lucky enough to acquire it, and And so I'm super excited about it. But it'll be my first time producing something on this larger scale, so I'm really excited about that. Cool. And then I have 2 television shows that are in development. One is a comedy about a new dad and the family that sort of helps this new dad develop his way in the world. It's called Negotiating with Terrorists. Because somebody told my buddy when he was having a kid, we don't negotiate with terrorists. You don't, and that's what kids are. So we have a script, Negotiating with Terrorists, that we've been writing and working on. And then another one I won't talk too much about, but it's just sort of about personal relationships and it's called Mixed. It's about, on the surface, about mixed relationships, people of different races or different backgrounds in relationships. But it really is about much more. They're just mixed ideas of how the world should work and people in mixed up circumstances and situations. And so that's kind of a comedy as well, but not totally. So it's in the middle of dramedy. Cool. So I'm working on those things. I'm really excited about those right now.
Yeah, they sound really good, actually. We'll keep an eye out for them.
Yes, keep an eye.
Definitely.
It'll be great. Yeah.
Cool. Right, back to Constantine again now. Sorry, it's going to be jumping all over the place.
Let's jump around, man. Let's jump around.
These are from a chap called Matt McCann, who's on Facebook.
Okay.
So, have you read any Hellblazer, and did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did read some Hellblazer. I read the first couple from the early on. I can't remember their names now because now it's been over a year, just to sort of get into the world. But Charlie lent me a book that had like the 5 first episodes. Like Swamp Thing is still in it. And,
right.
There are a bunch of other characters just to sort of get in the world and understand.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get too far into it because Manny isn't part of that world. Manny was completely new, so David Goyer and Daniel Cerrone talked to me about creating something new for our version of Constantine. And so Manny was going to be a new creation that we were all making together. So I just wanted to kind of understand the world, but not be too held to what to the constraints of the world.
Yeah, no,
I didn't want to. I didn't want to hold on to it too tight. I just wanted to understand it a little bit. So I did read a few in the very beginning, and not many after. But I really liked them, and I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It makes sense that obviously, with Manny being a completely new character to it, that you don't want to immerse yourself. You want your own feeling. You want to bring it in.
Right.
It did work really well. I would say that as a fan.
I appreciate it. Thanks. And Manny's actually not only just Daniel Cerrone and David, but one of the execs up at NBC had a real affinity for angels, and she was really instrumental in making Manny a big part of this series. And so, big up to NBC for being brave enough to try it.
All right, cool. Fantastic. Okay, second one from Matt is: if you had real wings, where would you go and what would you do with them? Off the wall question there, but
I gotta tell you, brother, if I had real wings, I'd be everywhere. I'd be like Paris Hilton. You'd see me everywhere. No, no. If I had real wings, I guess I wouldn't be doing this interview over Skype. You and I'd be sitting down and hanging out, and then I'd fly back here.
That would be cool. I've already told Angie next time she comes to the UK, and just likewise with you, I told her she loves the Beatles, so I said, right, well, I live literally around the corner from Liverpool. So I was like, come over, and I said, we'll just get absolutely wasted in the Cavern Club.
There you go. I think I'm around. I got to do that.
Oh, yes. I say, you're welcome. I know it's...
Thank you, brother.
Get yourself over here to a Comic-Con, and we'll take you around the sites.
In a drunken stupor.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure your little one will probably get on with my little one as well.
There you go, yeah. That ought to be fun. She'll make yours be the tooth fairy as well. I was telling him earlier that I was a tooth fairy for my kid. And a sad tooth fairy at that, so.
Oh, the things we have to do as dads, eh?
Exactly.
Cool. All right, the next ones are from Emma Christie, who's in the UK as well, I know. Manny talks about how he used to be heralded by orchestras, but who would win a dance-off, Manny or Mercutio? We just talked about this before as well.
Now that's a really interesting question. You come up with some interesting stuff. I gotta say, it would be a tie because they're both me. No. So they'd probably tie. Hard to decide on that one.
Fair enough. All right, cool. Okay, I've got a couple of questions here from a chap called TJ Kiska on Twitter.
Okay.
So, would you trust Manny if you were in John's position?
Would I trust Manny if I were in John's position? Wow. It's a hard one to answer. That's a hard one to answer. You know what? I think I would play it just exactly the way that Constantine plays it. I'd trust him a bit, but I'd be skeptical because it's always really hard to just fall in line with somebody else's journey, like somebody else's vision of the world. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And even if it's a vision for good, like, it winds up being, dogma if you just sort of blindly follow somebody. So I would, if I was Constantine, I'd always hold a bit of skepticism. But at the end, really, you can trust Manny. You really can. He does have the greater good in mind, even if it isn't John's greater good.
It's a tough question. Add that in then, is it?
Yeah, it's a tough question.
Yeah, and you would say that since you were Manny as well, Well, you are Manny, yeah.
That
cool.
would be.
What was your favourite scene and why?
My favorite scene. I think my favorite scene is when Manny gets cornered by the beautiful nurse, and he's in human form, and he's completely like everything that's happening is all new. For me, that was my favorite to shoot. First of all, the actress that we were working with was just so ready to do. Like, she was so good and so in there and prepared, and she was just killer. So that was, whenever you work with an actress or an actor like that, that's great. And then we just got to really, really play with what could be happening if it's the first time you felt all of this kind of arousal. So literally it felt really, really good. My body was I was tingling the whole time, but I was also laughing because it's the funniest shit ever. Angel who has been around forever, and this is the first time he actually has a heart on. Be so yeah, I was pretty. That was my favorite scene. I giggled about that one for weeks. I like that one. It was really fun.
Fair enough. That was a good scene as well. I say it was a good old. Yeah, you're right. It's the whole. Watching it was just really, really funny and interesting.
Yeah.
Just to see those reactions was great.
I wish they had takeouts of that because the outtakes, of some stuff, because we really just, in the amount of time that we had, we really just played around a lot, and it was really funny.
Well, that's all something we're all saying is if we get a DVD, even if we don't get season 2, if we get this on DVD, we want the outtakes because it looked like it was so much fun.
You put the outtakes from that because it was really funny.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, what was more fun, the Constantine set? What was more fun, the Constantine set or the Lost set to work on? I guess it's completely different in their own way, but.
Yeah, completely different. They were completely different. We had a lot of fun on Constantine. It was kind of cool. We had a lot of great guest actors on the show. They found a lot of really great locations. For Constantine, though, I wasn't around as much as I was for Lost. You know what I mean? Because really, that first season it was about John. And so, he was there, Matt was just there every day, just putting in great work and being in all these great locations and constantly, learning new things and magic and doing all this physical stuff. And so he was there working really hard for, what were we there, 8 months or something like that, or less. I don't remember. But on Lost, quite often, there'd be 14 of us on set, like, for weeks. So, that could be hilarious after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lot of hilarity on the set of Lost, and because the first season of Lost, we were the third show to be in Hawaii. We didn't have, sort of a run of the city. We kind of got what was left.
Yeah.
And so the location where the plane was crashed, the beach, we were literally right in front of a private airport.
Okay.
So like we'd be sitting there like like in the middle of the day going, do you think they're gonna come for us? Because I mean that's a plane, Mike. That's a plane. All right. Like, so we had a lot of hilarious stuff like that all the time, and then you're in Hawaii and it's just beautiful. Like you'd see sea turtles or like whales sort of cresting and bursting. Like
awesome.
You just can't believe how beautiful it was, and sometimes it's just like, how did we get here? Like this is weird. This is unreal. And so I would say Lost, because we had a bigger cast. There were more of us there. I had a lot more fun there, but I had a great time on Constantine. It was just a very different kind of work environment.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like that. Just made me chuckling. Making me chuckling about Lost now, because that would have been a really, really short series, wouldn't it? Is anyone gonna come? Oh, look, there's a plane right there, man.
You can't imagine how many times we got buzzed by a plane. It's like, we're supposed to be lost. It's flying over our heads constantly. What the?
I'll say two guys from Lost as well. I've got this is another thrown in ad lib one from me. Was who I think, look, obviously I follow them on Twitter as well. Were they as fun? Jorge and Dominic Monaghan.
Oh yeah.
Were they as fun as they seem to be? Because they just seem to be two fun guys.
Absolutely, and in very different ways. Like you know what I mean. Jorge is quite shy, but really, really smart and funny, and so always has something to say and do. And Dominic is really outgoing and super smart, and really always looking for bugs. That's he always goes like, Dominic, what's that? It's like, oh, I found this crazy bug, and it's like, okay, alrighty. So he would always fascinate Malcolm David Kelly, who played Walt.
Yeah.
He'd always come over and have some fascinating creature, and Malcolm was 12, so he was always fascinated. I was creeped out myself.
Yeah. I think I would be as well, to be fair. Cool. Yeah. I know Dominic had this wildlife series after as well, so that probably explains where that came from.
Exactly. Like when he did that, it's like perfect. Makes perfect sense.
Definitely. All right, cool. The next Constantine question is someone who is Tracy, from Glasgow. She would like to know what Manny's theme tune would be. She runs her podcast, you see, so she wants to know what Manny's theme tune would be.
I would say Manny looks like he'd probably have a theme from the 70s, so it'd be like either Superfly or Shaft. One of them. Got Manny's a bad mother, shut your mouth. I think it'd be somewhere in that vein.
Shaft would work well, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think Shaft would probably be something like that.
Oh, cool. Right. I'll have to rework some lyrics now. I rewrote the lyrics early on. I rewrote the lyrics to Daydream Believer and Always Look on the Bright Side of Life using Constantine words, verses. I can't sing very well, so they didn't go very well, but they're on a podcast somewhere, so I'll have to rewrite that. So I'll have to rewrite that. I'll rewrite the Shaft into Manny.
There you go.
We'll see how that goes.
That's really great.
Oh, cool. Okay, the next following questions are from Autumn Wolf, who is on Twitter.
Okay.
What's your favourite part of being an actor?
My favorite part of being an actor. Wow, this is really that's a big question, because I love almost everything about being an actor. But I guess my favorite part about being an actor is that it helps me to connect to the world in a kind of significant way. You know what I mean? It helps me not to write off people really quickly. There are people who I disagree with, and there are people that I agree with. But and instead of writing them off or being able to ever cut anybody off, being an actor has actually helped me be more empathetic, understanding. Like everybody is human, and they have their own set of dynamics that have come from somewhere, and understanding that takes a certain amount of patience and trust, and bravery, because quite often you're confronted by certain roles that you play. You know what I mean? And to understand them, I think makes me feel more human. It makes me feel more alive, and so that's for me my favorite part. Even when I play stuff that I really disagree with. You know, I once played a pedophile, and I really disagreed.
Yeah.
I really disagreed, but it was important. It was important to show the truth of it, and so to find that truth was a real interesting journey.
Yeah.
But like I fervently disagree with it, but I was able to find the truth that was like, oh, okay, well, if that happened to me, if I had been raised like this, or if I had been treated like this, or if I was told that the world was like this from formative age, I might actually wind up this way. And it doesn't make me evil. It just makes my point of view really skewed. It was interesting. So that's my favorite part of being in it.
Yeah, all right, brilliant, thank you. I kind of guess I'll probably get into big trouble now for saying it's the same kind of thing with Michael Jackson. I guess is that if you look into how I think the same of him because of all the allegations and stuff. But I just thought the way he was a kid, so I can see where that's exactly I think where you're coming from. There is
right.
You look at him in that way. You see how he was brought up, how he was raised, how he lived his life. The guy was mentally just a child himself.
Right.
Yeah, I can see where you can build that up and how interesting that would be, and then from an acting point of view to.
Right, you can have some compassion for him. You can fervently disagree.
Yeah.
But you don't want to. You don't want to kill him. You don't want to hang him. You don't want to just write him off as a human being because then I think it makes you write off a certain part of who you are as well. That's this is what makes the world go round. Unfortunately, the great stuff and the really tragic stuff and all that stuff swirling in there. Yeah. So yes, that's a great example.
Yeah.
Great example.
Human nature, it's just so vast.
Oh, now you're quoting Michael Jackson's song. You're I mean, you just have to look at the man in the mirror. You understand what I'm saying?
You're so bad.
All right, now we're getting off topic now.
Righty up. So the next one from Autumn Wolf is is that from Autumn? Yep. Is do you have an outlet to escape? Like Matt and John Joe have got music. What's your outlet?
I have music as one of my outlets. I really love. I have a guitar here. Sometimes, like yesterday, my wife had to call me 4 times because I was playing my cajon. Do you know what a cajon is?
No, I don't know.
A cajon, it's a box. It's Spanish for box, but it's a box that people you can use it in replace of a drum set.
All right.
So inside of it, they have different strings and wires, and there are different sounds that you can play on it. And you can use it like if you have a small band, instead of taking the drum set, you can take a cajon and a cajon player. And so, so I have music as one of my outlets, and I love riding my motorcycle when I get a chance. It does make me feel pretty free. So it's really fast and a lot of fun. So
what bike?
Looks like my wife is coming to get me now too. So I think we gotta go. What's up, Mama? Sorry.
That's all right. No worries. I'll speed it up for you.
Let's do it. Because we're goofing off. We're doing Michael Jackson.
I know. Yeah. Stay. Oh God. Right. Okay. So I shall. Oops. I've lost you now. Hang on. I don't know what I've done here now. Oh, my computer's just gone crazy.
I still got you. So.
That's all right. Yeah, you're flickering like mad everywhere. So these ones are come from Kim. I'll just do a couple, one each from now, because obviously you've got no time. What role would you aspire to be able to perform one day? Would it be theatre, TV? John Jay, for example, wanted to be Rumpelstiltskin.
That'd be awesome. I forever wanted to play Hamlet. I've never gotten a chance to play it, but I forever wanted to play Hamlet. That was one of my sort of favorite pieces back in school. But I would have to go with that. Yeah, Hamlet's like a fun one. Except I did the show Sons of Anarchy, and that really was Hamlet on motorcycles, which at the end of the day would have been my that would have been altogether everything I wanted. But yeah, Hamlet. It's either in theater or film. But Hamlet would be fun. A lot of fun.
All right, brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, I've got one coming from Perk Edge. Some brilliant Twitter names, I tell you. Okay, and that one is, again, there was two, so I'll just do one. Is there a possibility Manny might appear on the show Lucifer?
Okay, I'm going to be honest as honest as I can without trying not to offend anyone.
Okay.
I read the pilot for Lucifer, and as I was reading it, because they asked me if I wanted to play one of the roles or if interested in coming to talk about it, and I was like, I'm sorry, did somebody just change the name of the Constantine script exactly like our show? So I hope Lucifer has a great life. When I first read it, it reminded me of Constantine. I actually didn't understand. Like, I was so confused when I read it. I'm like, I'm on this show already. I don't understand what's happening. Why am I reading a script that's exactly the same show that I'm on? You know, bizarre. So I was a little freaked out by it.
Oh, cool. One last question before I turn off the recording. I will stay on. If you stay on for 2 more minutes after I finish recording,
sure.
That'll be perfect. I know you.
No worries, man. Let's do it.
So the last question is from Manny, who's in Japan.
Amy. Wow.
Yeah, so this has come all the way from Japan. If you direct one of Constantine's episodes, which one would you choose and why?
An upcoming or one of the? I don't understand. You like?
What if you were to direct an episode? Say of the ones. But I guess it goes back to like your favorite episode again. Which one would you would like to direct from the 13?
Oh, okay. Wow, that's You know, what I would have loved to direct, because I love all the sort of symbolism. I would have loved to direct the Fallen Angel one. We had a great guy, Nick Gomez, come in and direct it. Nick is great, but there was the one where we find the angel and she's fallen, but she appears as a good angel. I would have loved to direct that one, because all the sort of the religious symbols and ideology would have been a lot of fun to play around with. For me, I had a lot of fun just doing it, but it would have been fun to direct one like that.
Oh, all right,
or something in that vein.
Brilliant.
Excellent. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this interview. So, from the Hellblazer, it's been an absolute pleasure and honour to talk to you today, Harold. It really has.
The best has been all mine, man.
Is there anything quickly you'd like to say in parting to the Hellblazers who'll be listening?
Hey, listen, you Hellblazers, I just want to say thank you again so much for your support. I kind of have to say I haven't ever felt this kind of support, like, ever. Like, people have just been like, they don't give up hope. They keep fighting on. I don't know if you should keep fighting on, because it may not happen, but I got to say that, honestly, I'm inspired by the passion that people have sort of put forth about this show. It really does make me feel like, even though it's entertainment and we can get jaded by it, like, there is actually some great connecting that happens out there, and I'm really glad to be connected to all the Hellblazers. Like, you make me feel good. Like, you make me feel a part of something, and so thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Harold. I say just stay on for a little longer then. But Hellblazers, that has been Mr. Harold Perrineau, who played Manny in Constantine. Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.